What's going on, everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to go over Windows. It's going to be a fairly short episode, and afterwards I'll talk about things that we're going to be doing in the next few episodes. So, first thing, I actually worked on my GUI texture a little, just changed it a bit. Uh, Nothing that you have to worry about. Just to give me something better to look at than that average crap we had before. But we can get rid of a lot of that stuff. I also changed my font. So I created a font folder and just placed a font in there, and that's what I'm using right now. But I did notice whenever I was doing that this line right here was wrong. So it should look just like this. I put right here, it said TFF instead of TTF. I don't know why I did that. Just removed the dot and the slash right there. I don't think that really matters. And I added derive font size because it wasn't deriving the size either. But after that, then it started working how it should. So I'm not even using Kaiju right now. I'm using something else. Yes, I'm using Kandari. And I was doing some cleanup. I think it was last episode or a couple episodes back. And I knew that I had put this in here, but apparently I forgot that I had only put it locally and not globally, or however you want to call it. So right here, I need to go private list of integers. I'm going to call it, I guess, VIDs? I don't know. And integer. So this will give us, integer. And integer. Import these. So then this will give us a list of everything that we import. Make that static. Or everything that we create. Just so that when we clean up, it'll already be there for us. Actually, I don't even need to do that. Yeah, I really don't. Let's make a list of mesh. Sorry. Should probably be used to this by now. Because I do everything on the fly. I don't have anything written down already or anything like that. I just do everything right then and there. Let's just call it mesh list. And here, do public static void cleanup. And go, do I have a, no I don't. Let's put one. Iterator. Right now I don't need an iterator because we're only going to be cleaning up once, and I don't think I need to loop through anything else. So do for int I equals 0, I is lower than mesh list dot size I plus plus, and we'll just do mesh list dot get I dot cleanup, and it's not going to let me do it. No, I have to rename it. Cleanup meshes. Yes. No. Do clean all mesh. There. So whenever we call the static function clean all mesh, it'll loop through all of the mesh and the list, and it'll call cleanup. So it'll get rid of it. So whenever we create a mesh, and after it's done, we need to add it to the list. So mesh list dot add this. There. So that creates that function. I already did it for texture. Let's do it for shader. And, I won't even worry about a local. Do private static list. Let's see here. What should I call it? I thought I did have a cleanup in here. I don't know. Never mind. I will figure this out. I'll figure this out and do it next time. I don't want to stress this episode any longer than it needs to be. Okay. So inside of the GUI class, we need to create a window class. And I'll probably just put it down here. Yeah. So, just like we did on the other ones, we need one where we can pass in a string, and then one that we can pass in a skin. That way, if we don't have the skin cached somewhere, we can just call the string and it will grab it for us. So do public static void yes, window. And then we'll need a rect, and we'll need a title for the window. Now we're going to use consumers. So we'll do consumer integer. So we will return the ID of the window. We won't worry about what exactly it is for the moment. We'll do that later on because we haven't really gotten that far, but every GUI that is created is going to add to a variable, to an integer, so that we know where or what ID a certain texture is. Or where a certain GUI is, sorry. Sorry, I was not planning to record today. It's Thursday. I normally record on a Friday or Saturday, but I had some time. But like I said, we'll get to the actual window ID later, and we'll just always use it as 0 for now. And after that, we need a string style. And all we're going to do here is we're going to call window. So we'll create another window function. And then we'll just pass in our title, F, and then skin dot get style. And there we go, there's that. So now we create the other window for if style is passed in. Consumer, I should have just copy and pasted this. And then GUI style. There. So the first thing we need to do is we need to see if there is a style. Because this is going to affect the bounding area. Just like how the buttons do. If you don't have a style, then we don't have any leeway on where the drawing rectangle inside of that window should be. So it's just going to pass back in the original rectangle. So we need rect center, which is going to equal box r style. So it's just going to draw the box first, or draw the window using the box function. It's going to give us the center of that. And then with that, we are going to call label title. Hell, apparently I'm spelling everything wrong. So we're going to go label title, and then we need where the window text is going to go. So it's going to be r.x plus style.padding.x, and that will give us you have the top left corner padding. It's going to give us right there. So it'll put us right where the top padding starts. And for the Y, we do not have text alignment yet, which we will eventually get to, but we're just not there yet. So we'll just add a little bit of padding. So we'll say r.y plus, and for now I'll put 4. And whenever we get to text alignment, that'll just replace this part right here. That's supposed to be an R, not a T. And then that will align it to the top padding correctly. And yes, we are going to do, yeah, we'll do that. We will add padding, or not padding, drawing rectangles or areas. So let's see here. I don't know why I just went so far down. Because I'll do a list. Or no, I'll initialize a rectangle. So private list. Wait, why am I saying private list? Private static rect area equals new area new, oh Jesus, 0 0, say application dot width, and then application dot height. So that'll give us a new drawing area of the screen size, or not the screen size, but the window size. So whenever we draw something initially, it's always going to initially draw it to the size. And right down here, we will do public static void begin area. And this is going to work similar to, well, like I always say, Unity. Because if you have used Unity, you will know what areas are. Except for we're not using begin area and begin group like how they do, because we're not worrying about GUI layout, or at least in this particular sense. We're not going to be using layout the same way that Unity does it. We're doing our own method of how we do it, so we only need area. We don't have to mess with group. So this is for setting the area of the rectangle that you want to draw in. And then you need a way to close it or end it. So we'll do end area. And what this is going to do is it's going to, I don't know, I think I added this function after the last episode, because I was playing around with something. But all it does, it's just a function that just sets it. So just in case I haven't, we didn't do it in an episode and I added it after, then this is just a function. It just sets to whatever. So we need to set the area back to the window size. So application.width and application.height. So here we begin the area wherever we want to, and then here we end the area, which just sets area back to the size of the application. Now, up here, I was talking and completely missed what I was supposed to be doing. So if the style does not exist, then we're going to do what we're typing here. Alright, so draw the box, get the center, draw the label on the top, and now what we're going to do is we're going to begin an area. And all we're going to do for this is just pass in the center rectangle. Pretty simple. Oh, I forgot it doesn't work like that. If style does not equal null. Got my coding mixed up a little. And in other applications, you can actually do that. Just put the not symbol back there and it just tells you if it's null or not. But Java is different. Okay. Or at least this implementation. So if it does not equal null, then we're going to use our style. If it does equal null, we're going to draw the label or draw the title at r.x and r.y. So the rectangle that we pass in, we're just going to draw it there. And after the label, need to again begin the area, but we're just going to pass in R, I believe. That should be right. Now we need to do f.accept, and like what I told you before, we're just going to pass in 0, because right now we're just going to say all window IDs are 0 for the moment. And after we accept it, then we need to end the area. So this will allow us to have a function in whatever script that that it'll just call, and then we write whatever we want, and then it ends it immediately after. Right. I'll mess with the editor next episode, because like I said, I want to keep this short because we got some things to talk about. So down here, now we need a test method, a method that it's going to call. So do public static void, and we'll just do test, and then int window ID, because that's exactly what it's passing in. But for now, we're not doing anything with it. So, and inside of this, I want to draw texture. So let's go up here, say texture text, and then say needs to be static, the private static, whatever. So showing my SMW tiles, storing it up there so I can show an image in there. And I'll just do that here in a minute. We'll just show the window first. Alright, so let's actually call the window. So we're going to do GUI.window, and then I'll pass in a new rect. And it could be any rect. It really doesn't matter. I'm just going to... actually, you know what? Yeah. Type in exactly what I'm writing for the rectangle, because we'll go ahead and do the hierarchy, which would be like right here would be the a hierarchy or package manager. So we'll go ahead and put that window in there. And then we'll do application dot height minus, so debug window is 30, do minus 30. That way we don't cut off the debug down below. And the title, so we'll do hierarchy. And for F, we are inside of the core function, or inside of the core class, colon, colon, and the name of the method is test. And that's the method that I wanted to call. And then with the style, I already have one set up. And I believe I called it window. Yes. Oh, and I added a little bit of padding as well. So my boxes have a little bit more padding, because before, like right here, how the N is a little bit off from the where the blue is. Well, how I had it before, I was drawing it right after the padding, or right after that blue or whatever. So I gave it a little bit more spacing, so now it doesn't sit right on the edge. And that should do it, hopefully. Alright, there we go. And this is what the new GUI looks like. I mean, it's not excellent by any means, but it works. So let's go ahead and get rid of all this crap. We don't need any of this. Well, that's just extra nonsense. Stuff that we've done in previous episodes. So right here, we need to put this in editor class. Put this in hierarchy class. Just a little side note, this is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to have an editor class inside of here. Then we're going to have a hierarchy class, and our actual methods will be inside of it. And that's all just going to be inside of that class, besides variables and so on. So it'll just call it that way. So we do have a drawing area now, though, because how we set that up, it'll pass in this area right here. And since now we have that area, we can adjust it right here. Which is screen position. And do area.x plus area.y plus. And that will do everything we need for that for the moment until the next episode. So now if we go back into the core class, go into our test method, now we can just draw something. So we do GUI.draw, say draw texture. Texture is going to be text and new rect, and we're going to pass in 0, 0. I'll do 100, 100. So it should draw inside of the box, even though we're saying 0, 0. It should draw inside of the box in the upper left corner. And there it is. So now we have binding areas. So anything we put inside of this test area will be thrown inside of the window, regardless of where the window is. So even though that stays the same, it will drag over, even if I put this to 50, because that's how our code is set up now. There we go. Now, there is some limitations. You can use area anytime now, even without a box or anything being drawn. But we don't have multiple drawing areas set up, and the likeliness of us having multiple drawing areas set up is very slim. I don't believe I'm going to add that into this engine, just because it's not really that important, honestly. So basically what I'm saying is you can only have one area used at a time. So starts out, you're using the full window, and then let's say you put an area right here. Well, you can't add an area inside of this area. You just can't do it. I mean, it'll just screw up really bad. And there's honestly no reason why you should be putting areas inside of areas to begin with. That doesn't make any sense. So as long as you're not putting areas inside of other areas, then you're good to go. So just begin your area, draw whatever you want inside of that area, and then end it. And you can do that as many times as you want, as many areas as you want. Just only do one area at a time, you know? All right. So now down to what's going to happen in the next few episodes. We are going to be working on cropping, because as of right now, how big that? 100. Yeah, let's do 150. As of right now, if I have something at the end of an area, it'll just overlap it. Even though I'm telling it, hey, this is my drawing area. It doesn't know that it's not supposed to go outside of there. So what we want to do is, in the next episode, we are going to make it where it crops out the, like, where we want it to draw, or what we want it to draw. And if it's completely outside of the box, say we're drawing this like way over here, not even inside of the drawing area, it's not going to do anything. It's just going to completely skip over it. It's only going to crop it if it's on the outsides like that. And the same thing is going to happen with text once we throw it into that draw texture with texture coordinates function. Once we start calling it with our label method, then it'll start using it as well. Another thing that we're going to be adding, I don't know if it's going to be next episode or the episode after, but we'll be adding scroll bars. or sliders or whatever you want to call it. They're basically the same thing. Once you have a scroll bar, you have a slider. If you have a slider, you have a scroll bar. It just works like that. Same values. So either next episode or the one after or whatever, we'll be adding scroll bars so that we could scroll it, it'll go up, it'll already be cropped off, everything will work perfectly. And I'm going to try to make the episodes a little bit shorter. I mean, there is a lot of information that I pass through each episode. I mean, you see some of these episodes I'm doing 3 to 4 different things in a single episode. And it's just because there's a lot of information. It's not like I'm just making some half-cocked engine that everything is manual and you have to manually do absolutely everything. You know, I'm not making something like that. I'm not making some cheap tinker toy. This is something for every project that you want to make. And I want to continue to do this, these episodes, just continuously. And, you know, I'm not going to charge to watch the videos or whatever. That's just retarded. So even when I get to wherever it's, whenever it has its own compiling states and whatnot, I'm going to upload it so that people can download the full source. They'll have to pay, I don't know, like, I haven't even really thought about it, but figured like 15 or 20 bucks or whatever just to download what episode that we're on, you know, up to that point. Nothing expensive at all, just something to support the channel. And if they want to make it themselves by watching the videos, you know, feel free. It doesn't matter whatsoever. So that's just what I wanted to kind of go over, what I'm kind of looking at. There's still a ton of work that needs to be done, but we're getting there. I mean, next episode as well, we'll go ahead and set up the editor, and we're gonna go straight into adding the hierarchy in, and then, you know, eventually the project panel and the variables menu and all kinds of stuff. We're to the point where we can start building the interface for the engine. So I guess that's it, and I will see you on the next one where we just start murdering out some content. All right, thanks, and I will see you next time.